All right, welcome everybody to Flipping Mobile Homes, and we are actually in the middle of FlipCon 2022. It is an event that we put together. A lot of you subscribers out there asked me if you could come and help flip a mobile home, and so we're actually doing that right now. But I have a special guest, Mark Anthony from Trailer Cash Academy. Yes, this is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today, man. I really appreciate you for coming down here, taking the time out to add your knowledge onto what we're doing, because you have a lot of extensive knowledge, and welcome, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Hey, man.
Inviting me out.
That's it, man. So if you could just tell the folks, I guess, a little bit about yourself, because I know this is the second time. We've actually never met in person before.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's kind of surreal for me, to be honest with you. To be meeting with you and hearing the way that you taught today, because we have footage of that. But just a little briefing, just in case somebody else did not catch that broadcast.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm out of Phoenix, Arizona. I've been investing in mobile homes since the end of 2014. Before that, I was getting started in real estate investing, wholesaling, traditional houses. I had just gotten out of college, just finished my degree in architecture and construction management and interior design, and was trying to figure it out, right? And somehow stumbled across mobile homes, and it was just something that caught momentum, and started wholesaling, flipping. Got into a few sticky situations where I actually had to move the home, and scheduling was crazy with the mover. We all know how tough movers can be in terms of scheduling work with them. So I actually went and started working for that mover to start learning how to do it, to help them speed up their schedule to get to my home. When that time came, we started moving more homes. And then that guy actually got arrested, went to jail, and I took over the moving and started my own moving company with another friend of mine. And since then, we've been moving homes, repoing homes, going to auctions, putting homes on land, and creating households and places where families can create memories all over Arizona and the Midwest.
Man, that's a beautiful thing right there, man. You talk about creating memories. I know we had talked about it before, but like if you had to create a hierarchy of your top 3 reasons, let's go top 2.
Okay.
Your top 2 reasons as to why you do this, what would it be?
Number 1, it fulfills my desire to help people. Number 2, there's a saying, I think it's by Jim Rohn, it says, if you help enough other people get what they want, you can get what you want. So for me, it's helping people create their American dream. And in Arizona, it happens to be a lot of Mexican families who come across the border and buy a piece of land and a home and have a property that they can call theirs in America. And that's their achievement of the American dream to them at where they are. So for me, being a part of that is really just a big honor, knowing that I can play a role in some of those people's lives and in their kids, where this is going to be the home where they have Christmas and Halloween and birthday parties, where they start measuring their height on the door frame and stuff. I get to be a part of that. And so when it comes down to it, it's really just helping other people's dreams come true and being able to play a role.
That's a big thing right there. And I noticed that the thing that you didn't say was like money. And for me, that's a very important thing. It lets me know that we're on common ground, because in a little bit, I'm actually going to pile you guys into a van. You guys can't see this right now. We actually do have some attendees just off to the side who came down here to see us film this. And I'm actually going to put you guys in the van. We're going to go by and look at the very first mobile home that I ever did. Wow. And that was the one that took me out of, I ain't gonna say it took me all the way out of the poorhouse, but I was shoot bad. You understand me? Yeah. I couldn't buy a vowel. So my whole thing was, that was the first mobile home that I ever did. The guy wanted $2,000 for it. I sold it for $85,000. I netted off of that, I'll say roughly about $55,000, because I put some into it, right? But it was enough because I had like $2 in my pocket at the time that I started. And that home is still there. That family still lives in it. It was only a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. There was a lot of people that got in that home, but I ain't tripping about it, right? You need a place to stay. I had the place to stay. And there's notch counts in there. And when I walk in the door, I did a payment plan at first with them. And when I walk in their house and I smell those meals and stuff, that stuff being cooked, see little babies running around with Pampers on, you know, folks yelling at those babies about running around the house with Pampers on, and it makes you feel good. Yeah. And when you come in the house and everything, and even though you're there to take a payment, because I wasn't doing online payments at the time, so I actually got up close and personal with these people, and sometimes I bump into them at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's like, friend, what's going on? And that was, I've been flipping mobile homes for about 5 years now, so that's 5 years ago, and it's always the same. The money's fantastic, but the connections that you make along the way, it makes you feel like a better person. So that's one of the reasons why I do it.
The way I see it, there's a million ways to make $1 million. It's just what's going to make you feel good about it at the end of the day, and what are you willing to wake up and do each day. And that's different for everybody, you know. But for me, you know, it's helping these families. It's being able to be a part of a community almost. A lot of the deals and people that we work with come through referrals and helping their friends or family members and vice versa. And just being able to create that community type of atmosphere environment in this new world now where everything's so digital and global and people are starting to lose a little bit of connection, it brings it back a little bit.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is I'd like to go ahead and just kind of like blaze through the surface stuff, because there's going to be people who are going to be watching this and they're going to want the basics. We've got videos and stuff for basics and everything. We have Facebook groups. I'm going to put a link down there for his program. I'm going to put down any kind of social media if you guys want to go ahead and connect with Mark. But one of the things that I want to just get out the way is we're going to do this right here. We're just going to go ahead and come out and say it, man. We're going to talk about why the heck this stuff kicks so much ass and everything else doesn't. And everybody else is trying to get into real estate. I have students who come to me who try to do the single family real estate stuff, didn't work out for them because everybody's doing all these extra layers. Oh, it's so great, I'm making money hand over fist, but they don't tell you that they got to wait so long to get it done. So let's talk about that red tape. Why is it so amazing? And then we can talk about what the hardest part of it is.
So before I got into mobile homes, I was trying to do real estate with single family homes. I did 3 wholesales in like 4 years. It's not very good, you know? I mean, it was something.
You're probably doing at least 4 mobile homes a month now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's at least something, but the part was just, it was so competitive, especially in Phoenix, Arizona. There's probably 10,000 other wholesalers. Every time you try to get a deal, there was 6 other people in between it. And when I got to mobile homes, when I first came across, I went to an event and some lady was similar to this. She was just talking about she made $60K a month and it's her 18th month in the business. And I'm thinking, how do you do that? Like, those numbers don't add up. That's $60K a month. That's got to be like 50, 60 single family homes, $1,000 a month, right, at the time. And not to judge anybody, but I'm just looking at her. I'm like, no, she doesn't have money like that. Not to be rude, but I mean, that's crazy. That's a lot of money.
Standing there with some Levi's on, barbecue stains on her shirt and everything, months? But she got $60K a month,
18
right?
18 months?
Yeah.
Your kids don't even talk in 18 months. It takes them like 2.5 years to start talking. It's crazy. So I'm like, that is some wild numbers. And she was telling me about mobile homes, and she was seller financing them and renting them. And I was like, wow, this is exactly the same as traditional real estate. It's just instead of paying $100,000 for a house, you pay maybe 10, maybe 1,000, right? It all depends on what you find and where. But those homes were fine if you finance them or rent them, are getting the same amount of cash flow every month as a traditional home, maybe a little bit less. But we're comparing commas. There's a couple extra zeros on single family houses than there are mobile homes, but the monthly income's about the same, if not, better, especially when it comes to the flips. People who do fix them up and sell them, when I tell people some of the price points and the ROIs, cash on cash returns, they think that I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm doing my math wrong. When I tell them you can get 200 to 300% cash on cash returns, they're like, you don't understand cash on cash returns or return on investment, because there's no such thing as 300% in anything. There's no such thing as 30%. Right?
And you come over here.
People flip houses, buy a house for $200,000, put $50,000 into it to make $20,000, $30,000. People get a mobile home for $10,000, put $10,000 in it and sell it for 50, 60, 40. Make the same amount of money with pennies in comparison. That's what really stood out to me. It was so much comparable between the two on the back end, but on the front end, it was night and day difference. When it comes to inside the house, A sink is a sink, a countertop's a countertop, carpet's carpet, doorknobs are doorknobs. Nothing's different. So everything's the same. It's just for some reason, they're just the most unspoken form of real estate investing out there. I've read dozens of books. We've all looked for real estate investing books. We can all probably name only one on mobile homes, which is Deals on Wheels. It's the only one, and it's outdated.
That's the
and
Bible.
It's outlawed, right?
Yeah.
At this point, it's out. You can't even use that anymore.
Yeah.
So it was just really intriguing. There was no sharks in the water, especially coming from Phoenix, trying to wholesale with 10,000 other wholesalers. Now I get in this mobile home thing, and there's like 5 of us. One of the tricky things was, how do I figure this out? There's only like 5 people to ask questions from.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to get information, so there's a lot of trial and error. But the good thing was out of us 5 people, we were the only 5. So whenever any of us found something out or needed something, we had somebody to lean on because there was nobody else to go to. So it created this camaraderie instead of competition.
Yeah.
Which was really unique in real estate because a lot of people in the traditional real estate are very cutthroat. Go-getters, very aggressive, shark type mentality, which is great. It's what it takes to be a hustler.
Yeah.
But they lose the sight of building a team, of collaborating. Some people do joint ventures for sure, but it's a lot easier, especially when you're somebody with no real estate experience and you want to flip a house. We all know what flipping houses are. We all seen HGTV. We all know friends who are handyman or who have done floors or cabinets. We all know we could probably find a way to flip a house and figure it out.
Thanks.
The only thing we're missing really is the funds.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at a $200,000 project in a single family home versus maybe a $15,000 project. When it comes to asking around for some money, especially when it's your first time, it's a lot easier to get 15 grand than it is to get 200 grand.
Yeah.
My first deal, I got $4,000 loan that paid for the home, which is $1,200, and then $2,500, which is like the rehab cost and like a little extra change for lot rent and stuff like that. And that home sold for 18 grand.
You own.
Yeah.
You own.
I can't do the math, but that's like 500%.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
We're gonna go with that. I'm terrible at math in my head, right?
Yeah. You give me a pencil, I'll get it. But
Yeah.
it's crazy numbers, and
Let me interject right quick for a second because somebody had brought up something earlier, right? I had a question from one of the attendees yesterday, Esco, and he asked me, because we are in Alabama right now, okay? I understand. This is kind of going back to what you were talking about a second ago. When I think about, at least before now, if you weren't Mark and I wasn't Mike, we had never done mobile homes ever. Mm-hmm. What I would think about in my head when it comes down to that is poor people, lots of rebel flags in the yard, beat up cars in the yard, stray dogs, cats, beer guts, broken families, dumb people, missing teeth out of their mouths. Trump supporters, but I'm not just saying. I'm just saying. You can go on ahead and do whatever you want to do. I think, all people are great. When I was a kid, a Republican was just somebody who's slightly different from what you are, but things are kind of polarized now. But it's not like that when we get into this market. We get into this market right here and you get to see actual people. It takes a lot of that stuff away from that. But then knowing that dynamic, I also understand what people think about when they think about Alabama. They think that we're just down here running around in these rust bucket pickup trucks with rebel flags, yelling slurs and stuff at people and just spitting tobacco all over the place. True enough, that does happen, but it's not like that. I mean, it's extremely rare. But he asked me, he said, do you experience racism down here? And I say, I experience a lot more pushback from my own people than I ever experienced from white people or Hispanics or anybody like that. So sitting here on this couch with you, yes, our businesses are keeping it 100, competitors. However, the thing you said about collaboration, I think this is incredibly, incredibly important because so many times we had a situation yesterday at the flip side. We're up there trying to do something positive. We're working with each other. We're teaching. We're learning, asking great questions, and bought these mobile homes in this park. And this dude comes up there with 2 pit bulls. Never seen these dogs the whole time. Like, I don't even know how the hell you hide these dogs in the park. Never even heard them bark. Now all of a sudden they're off a leash, coming up there, and he's black like me, and you want to cause problems. And I think that's why it's so important for these collaborations. I see other people out there doing these things. You know, you got Mobile Home Elite, you got y'all, you got me, you got several other programs out there. People should be coming together. Like, what do you think about that out there? Have you experienced any kind of pushback, and for the most part, how do you overcome those things?
The pushback that I've gotten is more come from like traditional real estate investors, where they're used to getting contractors, doing everything themselves, or kind of just being like a loan shark. The only reason that I've gotten as far as I've gotten in terms of my mobile home business is by collaborating and working with other people in my market, in my area. Especially when I first started, there was only so much I knew, so much I could do, and so much I was able to do in terms of like resources to get around the city.
Yeah.
One of the ways I was able to collaborate was literally just location. Like, you're on one side of the city, I'm on the other side of the city. There's a house that could go and inspected. We could get it under contract for a great price. I don't have enough gas to get over there, but you're closer.
Yeah.
How about we work together? A lot of my deals started, Phoenix is huge, from one end to another, 120 miles. There's no way to make an appointment in 30 minutes from one end of the city to the other. A lot of the ways that we were able to collaborate is just by leveraging our location and using that as a resource to find a way to create value in time, because time is money, right? And obviously gas too, especially now with prices.
Yeah.
But even just finding different things like that, where one person would go and do the home inspection, another person would just go and show homes to buyers.
Yeah.
There'd be another person who would facilitate the rehab, and then there'd be other people who brought money to the deal, or maybe one or two people, or we got a bunch of our friends. If we wanted to get together 20K, it was a lot easier for us to get $2,000 from a couple of friends, and we all pull it together and we all get on this deal. And then now one of us isn't out 20 grand. Now we're all out maybe two, but now we can go do 5, 6 more because our pockets are empty, because we split it up and divvied it up and pulled it together. And it allowed us to do more volume. Like I said, Phoenix is huge. It was hurting us more to compete against each other, trying to rush to this, the north side or the south side and try to beat each other, when if we just did it together, we could get all of them together.
Yeah.
Instead of you get one, I get one, they get one, and each month we barely make it by trying to squeeze these together, whereas we come together, we take down all 4.
Yeah.
And they're all done. Our cuts are a little bit different, but now we're getting paid off of all 4 houses instead of just one.
Yeah.
And just leveraging each other just for different skill sets and resources. Like, I don't like talking to park managers. Not my thing. I'm not very talkative, I guess. I'm not a person who just go in a store and just spark up a conversation with a stranger, but there's people who are. They can talk.
I'm sitting right here, which is why collaborations work, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can talk to anybody.
To anybody, right? And just things like, and then somebody, you go talk to the park manager and make best friends, where if they talk to me, they'd probably be like, oh man, that guy's different impression, right?
Yeah. And
just leveraging those skill sets, those resources, those characteristics, and leveraging our strengths. I'm not good at everything. I know I'm not.
Right.
Same for all of us, right? And
I
just
have my
using
weaknesses as well.
So just using our strengths instead of trying to sharpen our weaknesses, wasting time almost. Like, trying to focus on something that we're not good at instead of just focusing on something that we are good at and can do really well, and then finding somebody else to wear that hat. Yeah. The hardest part about growing this into a business, from like a side hustle or a hobby, or a hustle into a legitimate business where you got employees, operations, is not wearing all the hats.
Right.
It's finding other roles for other people. That's your specialty, and everybody has a role. When you go to a McDonald's, there isn't one person in the kitchen. There's 8, and they all do one thing and one thing only, and they all have their role.
What would you say to somebody who has, because I think that something like that is born out of trust issues. I think something like that is truly born out of trust issues. When you're doing something like this, I would like for my life and my journey through mobile home investing to have been different. I have been through some hard times.
Yeah.
And I was telling them last night, I said, the guy who actually taught me this stuff, he wound up double crossing me. And he wanted to see me brought low. The money was coming in. We had touched we touched 6 figures our first year, that's for sure. and we both had different strengths, right? I can sell salt to a slug. It's not to say that I would try, but I have that skill set.
Yeah.
And I try to use my powers for good, okay?
Right.
Use my powers for good. He could bird dog like nobody else. That boy could find mobile homes like you wouldn't believe. And we would start out at 6 o'clock in the morning. We would go through it, man. And a year later, we touched 6 figures when everybody thought that we were crazy. Everybody was laughing at us when we started to invest in mobile homes. More so me than him, because I had higher up friends, and they were like, man, this dude's crazy. He's failing in life. He's losing his mind. I used to do animations and everything, and they thought that client work was where it's at. Anyways, though, long story short, getting back to it, he wound up double crossing me. Of course, I won in the end, obviously, because he's like on the run from the law right now, and I'm sitting here right now with, an audience and great special guests and attendees and everything. I wanted to do it from that moment forward. When I first flipped my first mobile home, I told him I wanted to teach it, and he held that greed in his heart, and that's why we couldn't really work together for longer than a year. We were like two bulls in a pen.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm going to show him, and it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But I have trust issues coming from that. What do you say to somebody who obviously didn't go through the same things that I went through,
Yeah.
but some people do go? I hear people's bad stories.
Yeah.
What do you say to somebody who has those trust issues?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to have a team, you're going to have to conquer yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I've had some of those challenges too. My business partner to this day, he doesn't want to tell anybody anything we do. He doesn't want anybody to know how to do what we do. And that's just his personality, but he's really good at documents, learning legal stuff, learning all the ins and outs of all the state rules and regulations. Then he's really good at finding deals. And so when it comes to, that's kind of what he does. That's his role. When it comes to doing the other stuff, I do the other stuff. I don't involve him in the teaching stuff. He doesn't want to be a part of it. That's cool. You stay over there, stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane.
Yeah.
It kind of comes down to communication, and just everybody being on the same page. Everything's never going to be perfect. Things are going to get rocky. Things are going to go up and down. Deals are going to go sideways. To get through them, at least with us, was just continuing to communicate through it, even if they didn't go the right way. Trying to make it out to the other side together, and communicating through it, and just learn from it and figure out what we can do for the next one.
Yeah. What would you say your biggest challenge is in forming a team?
Finding people that can finding people who understand really what they want. A lot of people really is what they want is money.
Yeah.
But once you strip that away and they get the money, now what do they want?
Yeah.
Money, like I said earlier, there's a million ways to make $1 million.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Once that's there, then what? Like, is there still going to be a gap or a hole in their heart, or is it going to be filled? And a lot of it's coming down to communication, like I mentioned, and finding alignment with their goals, their interests, their dreams. Everybody's in different places, in different lives. They have different, plans for how they want to live their lifestyle and their goals and where they're at. And it changes with time too. Things happen. People have kids. People move around. Everything changes. But finding people who understand really what they want out of life, more than just the money part.
Yeah.
To understand what makes them happy, what skill sets, what roles can they play that will fulfill them or keep peace in their heart, because the money's going to come. The money comes just as a byproduct of being of value to your marketplace. As long as you provide value or service, the money's always going to be a byproduct. It's just a measurement of how much value you bring.
Absolutely.
So that's always going to be there as long as you do what you're supposed to do. It's just keeping everybody at peace.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find the right roles for those people. Sometimes if they're not happy, maybe it's just they got to play a different role.
Yeah.
And just adjusting and finding, and it really just comes down to communicating. And for me, it's been more of a long-term goal. We set these goals, we set these dreams, we set these visions, and we all try to work on ways to get there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't mentioned it here, but I got goals to open up more factories and do a bunch of other stuff. So it's how can we all play roles and getting those things together. Not all of us are going to wear all the hats or play all the positions, but what can we do to contribute? and just finding those places that bring people peace and that where they can contribute that makes sense and is worth it for them, worth it energy and money wise.
Yeah.
And once those two things are settled, you can work out a lot of problems.
Are there specific things that you look for when you're trying to form a team? So let's say, for instance, right, do you just say, okay, this is a bright person, I'm gonna give them a shot, or do you like formulate some kind of a game plan and then try to figure out ways to fit people into it?
I try to fit people into it, and a lot of it is just off of alignment, like their goals, their visions. Do they have the same drive or the same like goal, or does this fit into what they want to do out of their life? For example, I have one guy who works with me now as part of my moving crew, but that's not really what he wants to do. He wants to start doing like site plans and permits. Like he went to school for drafting and never got to finish it.
Right.
He wants to eventually get back to that someday and be an architect and do building plans and be like an engineer.
Yeah.
But now he's putting tires on homes. He's not happy, but it's getting him there. Where we see alignment is this could be a way for him to move into that as we start to build our factories and start to do more of our land development. He can start to learn to do the permitting, start to do the site plans, and start to learn and develop, and maybe one day he can start to do some of the building designs and grow into that later down the road and find ways that we can align where our paths can meet. It might not be that today, but can we make it meet later on and fulfill both of our desires?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to test each other out through the course of your interactions and, trial by fire, basically.
Yeah.
And some of us are just, and we're building the doggone planes, we're flying it. And you're going to run into some bumps and everything, but you have to pay attention to those things, whether or not somebody's serious about it. Like you said, whether or not their goals align with yours. I really wish things could have turned out differently. I'll never forget that day that I was in traffic and my ex-partner pulled up beside me, like, one of those 50 Cent little moves, right? So I'm sitting in traffic, right? I had an Impala back then, right? Wrecked the shit out of it. So, yeah. At that point in time, he had, like a fool, I allowed all the money and stuff to go into one account that he had control over, and got all the money and everything, and the bank's calling and stuff. We're going to take your car away. And I said, well, I'll wrap that motherfucker around a telephone pole. I don't care, But he pulls up beside me in traffic one day. I'm sitting there at the light, and he looks at me. I had my window down. He rolled his window down. He says, hey, you going to jail. Ah! And pulled off like that. And sure enough, I did go to jail. He told the people that I had stole some money from him and everything, but I got out. But while I was in there, he broke into my house and stole my cell phones, and I didn't have any proof that we were partners. I really hate that happen. I don't even hate this person. I don't even hate him. I did at first, but then it's like you kind of ease on down, you get into your groove, and you realize that there's something bigger. There are people out there who need you, and you have to form these teams. You have to get over it. I just really wish that process wasn't so difficult, but you really do need a team. But my next question to you is this, though. I mean, if somebody's getting into it, let's say they already have good team building skills, which that's required. It's a requirement. Like you can't do everything alone. I just happen to be good at a lot of things, all right, personally, but I don't want to do everything by myself. Even out there on a job site, Dave's out there helping out and everything. So what would you say would be the hardest thing if somebody wants to get into it? What would be the hardest thing about flipping mobile homes? Then I'll give you mine.
The hardest thing, finding or creating really good deals consistently on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's easy to find homes for sale. The hard part is finding homes that aren't yet for sale.
Yeah.
And getting them before they go to sale or eviction or auction, or finding those distressed owners before and creating the good deals consistently.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do one every couple months or every month, but getting it to a consistent where every month you got this pipeline, and it just takes, I guess it's trial and error, building, testing and tweaking, marketing, networking. Almost everything is networking. Everything really, at least for my business in Arizona, I'd say at least 95% of it comes from referrals, phone calls, somebody sees me at a job site and comes up and asks for a card. It's something where it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
Majority of it a referral or somebody seeing me personally.
That's that advertising you can't pay for.
Yeah, you
That's
can't.
like the best advertising.
And that's where the best deals come from, is just being in the streets.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's the hardest part when you're first starting, because you got to form all those new habits. You got to somehow figure out how to make all that happen with your 9 to 5.
Right.
And start to transition and build that momentum. But the biggest thing is really just give it time. All it takes is time. As long as you stay at it, stay persistent, the momentum's going to build no matter what. You just got to give it the time it deserves in order for that momentum to build. It will happen as long as you keep persistent and keep going at it. It's inevitable. It's just that snowball effect. It's just not getting impatient and not giving up on it too soon.
Yeah.
Or ever. Just keep at it. And it will eventually, you just start to trickle. And the next thing you know, a year's gone by and you did 6 figures.
Heck yeah.
2 years, 3 years, and now 5 years have gone by. And it's like, I just started this, it seems like just a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. And years have gone by and hundreds of deals have gone by. It goes by so fast. Just the one thing I would give everybody's advice, just give time the respect it deserves in terms of building momentum. Just keep at it and give it the time it deserves to build.
I hear you. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to stick it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it for safekeeping a little bit later. Revisit that. I would say the biggest challenge that I see for a lot of people is the possibility of somebody saying no.
Yeah.
People are friggin' terrified of rejection.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, you know, they look at you, and of course they want to go out there and succeed like you do.
Right.
A lot of people don't have the guts to walk into an office, or maybe they just don't have the personality like you're talking about.
Sometimes it takes training to learn to accept no, like sales training, like door knocking.
Yeah.
They say it takes 7 no's to get a yes from a customer.
Yeah.
You know, and just learning that again, persistence. You know, they say the fortune's in the follow-up.
Yeah, it is.
You know, the no is just the no for now until the yes. It's just how many no's do you have to get through to get to that yes.
Yeah.
And
I think I look at it the same way.
Until you learn that, it's hard.
Yeah, I look at it the same way. So anytime somebody tells me no, I'm like, great. Now, we've gotten that out of the way. My yes is out there somewhere.
Yeah.
The quicker I can get through your no's, the faster I can get to my yes. I'd rather go on ahead and get it out of the way. Next thing you know, I mean, even right now, I got people and stuff blowing up my phone, hopping in my inbox who never wanted to do business with me. Mm-hmm. Now, it's like, hey, you know, it's like, we got this and we got that. They're putting up screenshots and everything. And I get things off market too. Yeah. But that's the biggest thing. Get through your nose, man. Like, you got them coming, right? You got them coming. I guarantee you Mike Tyson got whooped 1,000 doggone times before he got as good as he did. And he said that. Yeah. If you want to be Mike Tyson in this field, you got to take your lumps. Yeah. You know? You just have to. And somebody saying no to you isn't the end of the world, is it? You're not going to die. The worst thing somebody can say is, get out of my park. Get out of my yard.
That's it.
Well, that's like the second worst thing. Their dog could attack you, so always keep something like with you. I've had to pull out a tire iron on somebody's dog before, but it is what it is. And I went back to that man's house. He was a Polish dude. He had I found him. So I'm going to show you around Alabama and stuff later on. But however, you are going to see all kinds of just private parks and stuff that you're never going to see if you just Google things. Yeah. And it just so happened I found out this dude was Polish, right? So gotta get back to the house. Polish food, pierogies. That looks easy enough. So, you know, after I chased his dog off and everything, I came back. And dude was real cool. I didn't get the mobile home, but he appreciated the pierogies. Mm. And later on, a year later, I got to do business with him. Yeah, that was it.
You'd be surprised that stuff comes back months, years later. People will follow up, even on Marketplace. I'll tell somebody I don't have a home, and they'll message me on that same listing months later. Do you have anything new? I would have never went back and talked to those people ever again. Yeah. Luckily, and then that taught me from that moment on, always go back to my old leads, you know?
Yeah.
Go back to those first and see if they still need homes.
So you got that list.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's it. I get people, not only do I get the mobile homes, but I also get people who hit me up for things like, hey, do you need an AC unit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like sweet little old lady I met down in Florida, her and her husband, I bought a unit from them and they just keep hitting me back.
Wow.
You know, and I tell them I get a great deal from them. This is something I had to tell everybody else yesterday. I was like, look, they was like, well, Mike, do you hook the AC up? I'm like, no, when I post my mobile home, I say AC is included. Now I say the unit is included. I didn't say it was hooked up, right? I didn't say it was hooked up. So that's how I get out of it. I'll set the unit right there in the middle of the floor, just in case you want to move that thing. You're required to do that. But man, I get those referrals and stuff, and it feels great. It takes a lot of the pressure off of me, and you just do good, and good will come back on you.
Yeah, referrals are my favorite. You don't have to do any selling. It's already sold it's already sold the second the second you respond.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now you don't have to sell salt to a slug.
No.
Yeah.
No, because they're coming and they got the referral. It's like going to go see that movie that your friend told you to watch on Netflix. You don't even have to look at the reviews. You already, Mike told me to watch. I'm going to watch it.
Exactly, because they're going to explain it in such a way where you basically have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that stuff.
I'll say another thing about mobile homes compared to traditional real estate. I call mobile homes the biggest cheat code to real estate. With real estate, they say the number one thing in real estate is location, or the top three things in real estate are number one, location, number two, location, and number three, location. With mobile homes, let's look at the first word, mobile. You can put these things in any one of those number one location, number two location, and number three location, and find where it's the most valuable. One of my favorite strategies of mobile home investing is getting homes from parks, whether people got evicted or people passed away in 55 plus parks and there's no probate or heirs to get the home, and the park ends up just auctioning them off essentially because they owe lot rent from nothing getting paid, and taking those homes and moving them to their own land.
Yeah.
And finding places where they're the most valuable and turning them into real property. And turning a $5,000, $10,000 mobile home in a park into a $300,000 property.
Yeah.
$400,000 property, real estate. It's no longer a vehicle. So it's one of the biggest cheat codes to transition into real estate.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else where you can take a vehicle and convert it into real estate.
Yeah.
Like that it doesn't even make sense. But with mobile homes, it's just one of these loopholes where it's possible, and it's the most unspoken about form of real estate investing there is. I'd say it's the biggest cheat code there is.
It is.
Because you can put this home anywhere. You could put it somewhere where it's worth $100 a square foot. You could put it somewhere where it's worth $150 a square foot. You could put it somewhere where it's worth $200 a square foot. You can change the location. You can't do that with a regular house. This building's beautiful, but I can't take this anywhere. It's stuck right here. It's never moving. I mean, it might, but it's going to be real hard.
It's going to stay right here.
It's going to stay right here. Almost forever, right? But
yeah.
That's one of the nuances with mobile homes that make them really lucrative in real estate is being able to change the location.
Yeah.
It's a key feature that you can't do with traditional real estate. The only thing you can do with traditional real estate is make it better. You can only change one variable, which is the quality. You can only increase the quality.
Yeah.
With mobile homes, you can increase the quality and the quantity. You can change the size. You can take a property that had a single wide, maybe 800 square feet, take that thing off and replace it with a 2,000 square foot home within a week.
Yeah.
If you were going to build that with a construction crew, it might take a year or two, and who knows how many permits.
Yeah.
That might not even get done.
Yeah.
To build another 1,000 square feet on your home.
Yeah.
But with mobile homes, you can do it in a week.
I look at it like it would be the equivalent basically of like buying a $15 steak at like Winn-Dixie up here at Publix, and then you take that same steak and you serve it at a Salt Bae's restaurant.
Yeah.
What that thing gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna be like, oh, I paid $300 for that, and you just spent $20. It's not a scam or anything, but you're paying for the experience. All right, just to be at Salt Bae's restaurant, just using that analogy once again, it's the same thing, but you're providing value. And also, there is a friend of mine told me about this too. There is emotional pricing, right? So let's say, for instance, right now in my area, I can't really get as much money for a mobile home as, say, you might be able to, or just in Florida, like 20 minutes south of me. For where I live at, an 80s model mobile home isn't going to fetch that high of a profit margin. I might go into it if I know I can make at least 100% ROI. 20 minutes south in Florida, it's a different story.
Right.
It's a different story.
And that's what I mean. The mobile homes are a cheat code because you can put it there.
Yeah. We're taking it to Salt Bays.
You can put it where you're going to get the most for it, right?
Exactly.
And you can't do that with any other form of real estate, where you can change a 1,000 square foot home into a 2,000 square foot home in a week, and change the quality from $100 a square foot to $200 a square foot because you make it better.
Facts.
You can do both.
Yeah.
Which is something that any fix and flipper can never do. So when I always explain that I'm getting 200, 300% cash on cash returns, they don't understand how that can even be possible because they're just thinking of that one variable changing the quality. There's no way you can rehab a home and double its or triple its value. It's just, you're not adding that much value.
Yeah. Plus the comps are kind of ambiguous too with mobile homes.
They are.
Yeah, they're very hard to pin down.
You really just got to find an area where it's going on a lot and just zone in.
Where do you see us going with interest rates rising? People are losing it right now. Where do you see us fitting in with that, this industry?
I think we're in a unique position because these homes are way more affordable than traditional homes, whether used or new right out the factory.
Yeah.
And they qualify for FHA loans new out the factory. It's a really valuable option for the average American who can't afford a $600,000 four-bedroom house anywhere else, or $200,000, but you can get the same size home. You can make it look the same once you get it.
Yeah.
If you were to wake up one day blacked out, drunk from the night before, whatever.
I've been there.
You woke up in a mobile home and it was fully remodeled. You might, depending on how it was done, you would have no idea it was a mobile home.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you had the vaulted ceilings, the high ceilings, you wouldn't know you were in a mobile home till you went outside and you saw. You know, they're identical in that sense.
Yeah.
But the price points,
Yeah.
it's a lot more affordable for the average person, and I think that's where it's a huge advantage. You see people like Warren Buffett who spent $8 billion to buy Clayton Manufacturing, and now they do $10 billion a year building homes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Warren Buffett is the largest mobile home investor in the country.
Yes, and we all know Warren Buffett for mutual funds and insurance stocks, and here he is buying mobile home manufacturing companies, and he's building 20,000 mobile homes a year.
Yeah, and people laughed at me when I started, right? Of course, I ain't on his level yet, but it's just a smart move by a very smart man, and a lot of people pay attention to that guy. So what's good for the goose is definitely good for the gander. You know, guys like that, they don't, when everybody else is scrambling, or the market's doing this and doing that, and all these data analysis, and everybody is like telling you to dump this or buy this or go over here, he's sitting down, he's understanding where things are. And I think that's crucial that we do something like that. You know, we don't have a lot of the problems that everybody else has. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't get a loan right now because, you know, the Fed, they hiked up the interest rates, or, you know, the housing market is crashing or something. We ain't going nowhere. We own ours. It's fine. You know, we can set our own rates. And that's kind of something else I want to talk with you about like your notes, right? The notes. I tell people all the time, everybody asks me about the notes. It really does depend on where you are financially before you need to go on out and start doing that. If you don't have at least 6 months worth of living expenses, my advice is do not do notes, do cash. All right, if you have that taken care of already, if you got that stuff locked away in savings, now you can go on ahead and start sitting back and waiting for that money to come on through. But I want to talk about notes for a little bit.
Yeah, notes are pretty lucrative. I did a lot of notes when I first started, with just homes and parks. I did about 83 before I had to start switching things up. But they get really lucrative in a sense where there's people who just buy notes. They're investors and they'll cash you out on the principal and they'll take over payments so they can earn the interest.
Yeah.
So I had a little track where I was strictly just flipping notes. And we were creating the notes, setting them up, and then selling them to note buyers and just cashing out that way. And they took over the payments and they collected the interest. Yeah. And that's all they wanted. They wanted somewhere safe where they could park their money at 15% a year.
Yeah.
and that's all they were looking for. And they were like, as many as you can get me of these, I will take them all. Right? They had 800, 900 grand, which if you're talking about a traditional house, that's 2-3 houses. That's not that much you can do. But now you're talking mobile homes. It's a lot of mobile homes. It's a lot of deals that they can, basically have their money sitting, compounding. Their main concern is earning interest. They're almost like a lender, but they're looking for portfolio income, paper.
Yeah.
They don't want the property, they don't want the rehab, they don't want the tenants. They just want the paper and the payments.
Yeah, the debt.
And the interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where notes can get really interesting and kind of lucrative. Is it creates other options. You can hold a note yourself and carry it and start to build cash flow, or you can wholesale these notes and sell them and collect all the principal and let somebody else take over the payments and earn the interest.
So do you sell? So you sell them at a discount?
You sell them at the face value of the cash without interest.
All right. So for example, we got a mobile home. Mm-hmm. It costs $10,000 just on the market.
Yep.
All right. You want a $2,000 down payment. Everything else is financed.
Yep.
What are we selling that note for?
10,000. It would be the rest of the 8,000. Now the person who buys it, they would collect the interest. So now you have monthly payments of the rest of the 8,000, right? But say
Right.
there's 15% interest.
Right.
If that were to be drawn out over an amortization schedule, it'd probably be somewhere around 18 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So you're cashing out at your 10 grand, the principal, the cash face value, and then they collect the interest and the payments.
Makes a lot of
So
sense.
they earn off the interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they only make the 8 grand, but that 8 grand is off the interest because they paid you the other 10 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and depending on your percentages and everything, it
Right.
can go up or down.
Right.
Now, I can't really speak on whether or not, I don't know, like state laws and stuff. I don't really
Yeah, it
get into
depends
stuff
on
like that. It
states
depends on what they
too.
allow.
Because it depends if you set it up as a mortgage,
Right.
or you set it up as like a vehicle loan. Because a vehicle loan, you can do a title loan.
Yeah.
And title loans can sometimes go up to 32% interest, depending on the state.
I just learned something.
So a title loan is way different than a mortgage loan, which would be a deed, which would be land.
Yeah. And they
Or-
tend to cap those off.
They tend to cap them off sometimes as low as 12%.
Yeah.
In some states. So there's different ways to kind of set them up, and depending on what state you're in, they can get pretty lucrative. And the other part about notes that get really interesting is, we don't ever hope this happens, but when it happens, we can still find a way to make it through the other side. If somebody, for some reason or another, can't make payments anymore, and they start to default on their payment, and they have to obviously no longer live there because they're not paying anymore.
Right.
That problem can arise an opportunity where now you can resell that home all over again at full cash value, as if you started over brand new and sell that home again for $10,000, even though you already had the $2,000 deposit that you mentioned.
Right.
You already had, say, 8 months of payments, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years of payments, but now they can't. And now it's like you can start it all over again and sell that home a second time, get a new deposit and start the payments all over again. Or sell it to another cash buyer or whatever. You can start it all over again.
Right.
Which creates another kind of lucrative opportunity in the face of adversity. So notes can get interesting because there's a couple things that you can do with them.
Yeah.
So there's just so many. That's why I love mobile homes, or just real estate in general. Just all of this. There's so many options. There's not just one way to do this. So that's why I mentioned where you don't have to wear all the hats and you can build a team. There's so many different ways to start building. As once this momentum goes, you start to get some notes, you start to get some flips, you start to get some rentals, you start to get a bunch of different things going on at once because you got a team and things move at different paces, but all the things are moving at the same time. But you have kind of different money from different places, that multiple streams of income that they say that the wealthy always have.
Yeah.
You can create that through just this one industry, but find multiple different ways to get money, whether you're rehabbing and flipping a house or just wholesaling it as is or creating a note or renting them. There's different ways to make money. There's not just one way to do this business. That's why I love it. It's just so flexible. No matter where you are, there's a way.
Yeah.
You know, just because one strategy might not work where you are doesn't mean the other ones won't.
Right.
So it creates a lot of flexibility and a lot of options and different ways for people to make money.
So you hop in a time machine. You go back pre-2013. Mark, a younger Mark,
Yeah.
sitting in a coffee shop with his head up his ass,
Yep. That was me.
What do you say to yourself?
I was on the right track. I was trying to do real estate then. I would say just start doing mobile homes sooner, probably a couple years sooner.
Yeah.
What that would have meant for me is just building that momentum faster, and it would have got me ahead in the game with some of the people in my market that were coming out. It would have kind of set me ahead as a leader out of them, just being kind of ahead of the curve more.
Yeah.
That and I would tell myself to get licensed in all the disciplines, whether it's a mortgage loan originator, so you can do notes, whether notes for yourself or just notes for other people.
Yeah.
Say if the park wants to finance a home, but they can't because they don't have a license to create a mortgage, the park can now call you to generate that note for them.
Right.
And just do the legal documents, or get my notary. I tell myself to do that. Just different ways. I didn't even mention being a notary and just notarizing bills of sales and documents for people, even if they're not your homes. You're selling them for somebody else, or if you're just brokering a deal where you're not getting it under contract or wholesaling, you're just bringing a buyer and you get a flat fee.
Yeah.
And just helping them with the paperwork, because these people don't sell homes every day, but we do.
Right.
We know the steps and the processes to make this go as smooth and seamless as possible. No gray hairs.
Right.
That's one service that we can provide. That is another way to create value, to provide value, to make money, and just helping people facilitate this process. How many times have this person bought a mobile home before? Probably never.
Right.
How many times has this person sold a mobile home before? Probably never. But we've done it more than once, so we can help them through that process as just another way to provide a service, that alone. And not even just wholesaling and fixing it up and flipping. There's just so many different ways to provide value to the marketplace, to our communities.
Yeah.
From so many different angles.
If I could go back in time and tell myself something like that, I think I would just let myself know that it's going to be okay. I've been through a lot of stuff, and I'm sure you have too, that I thought that I would break and I wanted to turn back, and I didn't go as hard as I could have. And yeah, I would have told myself about mobile homes a lot sooner. I never would have got to the point to where my lights and my water were cut off at the house. I never would have got to the point where I was sleeping on my friend's couch and eating her food and stuff just to make it by. I would have told myself that it's going to be okay. Stay the hell away from your friend, because he's not your friend. But that it's going to be okay, and that I'm on the right track, and that I would go on to, just like yourself, influence and change the lives of so many people. Because it's not just the homes that you sell that they move into. It's all the people that you affect who learn from you. I'm sure those people are incredibly appreciative of what you've done. I never would have saw that about myself, because I looked so down on myself. We all have traumas that we go through that really shape how we look at ourselves and through the world. And working through those things, experiencing some trials and tribulations, because I'm just going to be honest with you guys right now. I did a decade in prison. And back then, I was just some dude. I really didn't know where the hell I was going. And while I was in there, one of the old heads had pulled me off to the side. And he said, "You know what? You're smart, man. You are smart." He's like, "But you get in too much trouble in here." And he was a lifer, He wasn't ever going home. Feds don't play that. He said, "You need to go up there to VT. You need to take up some trades." So I took up carpentry, 6 months. But I never forgot, in the back of my mind, I had some co-defendants, and they were just 1 year younger than me. And I felt like I led them down the wrong path and took whatever opportunities they would have had in life. I know it's not my fault. I mean, everybody has their own freedom of choice. But I've always felt like I needed to give people opportunity, because I took opportunity from somebody. I still feel responsible for it even though I'm not, you know. I didn't know I was going to do this. It's been a hard walk. And this is me in the time machine, talking to myself, to build this thing up, to give other people opportunities and give them the life that they might not have, dreamed of. And when I get somebody who says, man, I got my first home, or I did this, we really helped out. I'm like, man, I'm on my way back to redemption, I guess. But I picked up carpentry skills in there like you wouldn't imagine it. There was this VT, it was this whole part of the prison I had never seen.
Wow.
And I walk in there and there's a house. A house. It's not a big house, but you could go in it. It was like 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And it was built by inmates with bricks around it. And I felt like, I forget that black dude's name that played in Gladiator, but he looks at the Coliseum and he said, I didn't know men could build such things. I didn't know inmates could build such things. And I got out, I kept my nose clean until that little snafu with my partner. He knew I had been to prison. He knew I never wanted to go back. And that was a big joke for him to get me locked up for those 12 hours. And I never dreamed of where I would be to be, affecting people's lives. That's all I got to say about that because I feel myself messing the hell up. But I'm just saying, yeah, I tell myself that it's going to be okay. The great things are on the horizon, and you got what it takes because you've been through much worse. And that's why I'm not afraid of no's. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, guys, if you want to get in touch with Mark, man, I'm going to put his info down there. Trailer Cash, you got to go check those people out. They're very knowledgeable about things. They got a ton of stuff, lots of great people. A couple of the attendees at this event are also from here. I wanted to have them as well. Just awesome people, and I want more people to, work together. And I don't want to be like, screw everybody else. Go check them out. See what they've got to say. See what you can learn. Constantly grow. Never get anything from just one source, because we can all, at the end of the day, work together to make opportunities for everybody else as well as yourself. Mark, I'd like to thank you for being here for us, man.
Yeah, thanks for
and
having
being
me.
here with us, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, man, cool. I'm going to have to have you back sometime.
Absolutely.
That's it, guys. You have been awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Watch Flip Mobile Homes. Peace.